Welcome, everybody, to the 11 o'clock Black Friday special class. Thank you all for coming today. You're not out battling the crowds and shopping and all that other stuff that we used to do on Black Friday. So it's a wonderful thing that you joined us today to play some music. We are going to be playing the Trolley song. And because there's not really that much to teach you in the Trolley song, I have also decided, if we have time, which I think we will, to add the other song that comes from the same musical, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
What
So,
page is Trolley song on?
pardon? The Trolley song is on page 274.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And we can actually get started with Christmas songs today if you wish. And since now it is officially after Thanksgiving and it's officially Christmas season, we'll talk about this a little later. But if you would like, I can either combine one song from here with one Christmas song, or we can just throw the book aside for now and just do Christmas music if you want. So think about that between now and the end of class, and we'll talk about it at the end of class. All right, so what do we know about the Trolley song? It was made famous by the one and only Judy Garland in the 1944 film Meet Me in St. Louis. It was nominated for Best Original Song at the 1945 Academy Awards, but it lost. Now, how could a song like this lose? Because Going My Way was also that same year, and Swingin' on a Star beat it out. This song, the Trolley song, ranks number 26 on AFI's 100 Years, 100 Songs. 5 versions actually charted between 1944 and 1945. Judy Garland, the Vaughn Monroe Orchestra, but the biggest hit, 2 of them, Wikipedia didn't even tell me 2 of them. The biggest hit was actually done by a group called the Pied Pipers. Anybody know them? Not intimately, huh? I didn't look them up. I didn't give them another thought, but I like the Judy Garland version myself, so I left it at that. The film was directed by Vincent Minnelli. Does that sound familiar? He met Garland on the set, and that's when they later became married, was from the meeting from Meet Me in St. Louis. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas is also from the film, so that's why if we have time, I will also work on this song with you. Most of you do have a whole pile of Christmas music in your house. If you don't, email me and you know what happens then. All right, so the Trolley song comes up song setup to Broadway opener at 138. I don't actually have a lot of new chords. I will give you a few. But let me play it first, and let's just see what happens. Here we go, the Trolley song. That's it. Now, if you did go to YouTube, this whole scene, the Trolley scene, actually took quite a few minutes, and the song actually lasted a lot longer than this. So there are some other sections that could have gone in there, or you could have made it longer by playing it again. I would probably use the transpose to take it up a step if you're going to play the whole thing again. You might want to do some changing. I just changed from upper to lower keyboard to change the sound, but if you notice, it was 138, but it seemed awful much faster than that, didn't it? Because I played it in double time. If you play it exactly as written, it's going to sound like this. Oops, let's go back to that one. Okay, that's playing it exactly as written. I played it in cut time or double time. I like to call it double time because I'm counting it absolutely double. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that being said, this is tough to get all those notes in there. So you might want to lower your tempo so that you can get all those notes in. All right, as far as chord changes, you may make that very first C a C6. Now remember, this is an intermediate advanced class, so you do not need to put in any chord changes if you don't feel like it. What is exactly a C6? It is a 4-note chord, and you must play it in this order: C chicken, E elephant, G gorilla, and A alligator. If you do not play it in that order, what will happen is it will become an A minor 7 and it will sound minor. And that's just due to the inherent characteristics of the easy organ, the easy play. Okay. The next change is on line 2, the G chord. You can play G, you can play G7, or you can play G9. G9. Now, it's kind of hard to get that chord in because it does go so fast, and it does take your hand a little bit out of position. Your 4 notes are F, G, A, B, all in a row. And I just like taking these 4 fingers and plopping them right down on those keys, and it makes your chord. But you do have to take your hand out of position to get there. So if that's too hard, just play G or G7, and you're absolutely fine. The next line. 1, 2, 3, 4th measure. We're going to move that F minor backwards 2 beats. So you're going to start the F minor on beat 1 of that measure over the whited in quarter note. And on the last line, the C, the ending C can be a C6 or it can be a C6-9. Wow. Now that's a 5-fingered chord. What's the difference between that and C, plain old C? All right, here's plain old C. Here's a C6 with the 4 fingers. And here's a C6-9 with 5 fingers. Wow, that does change it up. So what would your 5 notes be? C, D, E, G, A. C, D, E, G, A. That just makes a beautiful sounding chord.
Dawn, you said C6 was C-E-G-A. But
Correct.
But 6-9 is C-D-E-G-A.
Yes, you're adding the D.
Okay.
So if you can play the C6, you might as well get that 4th finger and add that D in there because it will sound fabulous.
Okay.
And the next page, 0 chord changes. Woohoo!
Wow.
Yeah, not a lot of chord changes in this. It's pretty much as written. What kind of backgrounds work on this? Well, this was the song setup was the Broadway opener. Basic Broadway also works, or underneath your Broadway, your theater organ also works very well. Okay, so that works very well. And right there where it says fine, where you have the double lines, that's where I would go to the lower keyboard and give it a different sound, just to change it up a little bit. And then when you go back to play that whole second page with that lower keyboard, then when you go back to the first page, put your hand back up to the top keyboard. Now, how's this for a background? Sandyman. Did you ever think of that one for this? Well, if you put it on with the Orchestra Plus and the introduction, you're going to get this. And you don't want that. You don't want that. So take your Orchestra Plus off. But that's what you're going to get. And that is the exact same type of a frenetic beat that you want. Because remember, this is the trolley car. You want it to sound like the trolley car. So don't underestimate some of these other backgrounds. That Sandyman, everybody thinks the only thing they can use that for is Mr. Sandman. And it works perfectly well for this. 138, or slow it down a little bit so your fingers can catch up. And use Rhythm Preset 0. Just take off your Orchestra Plus. And that worked very well. You might also want to try something. I have a little try next to this, and it's some days I like it, some days I don't. Go to your classic and try a Baroque background, not a broken one, a Baroque background, and see what happens. It gives it a completely different feeling. So don't be afraid to try new things. Now, those of you with the smaller instruments, the Freedom 3 actually has a Broadway background. Go to your traditional Group 2, and it is called Showtime. On your easies, 2s, 4s, 3s, 10s, go to your easy standard full band. And that's your Frank and the Count. And that shall work absolutely fine because you're just looking for that trolley car feel. Bump, 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 bump. You're just looking for that. Any questions so far? All right, let's do some fingering. And I told you there's not a lot to teach with Trolley Song. It's just a really fun song, but not a lot of changes. And just some suggestions for you to have fun with it. You might also want to research your toy box. And what do I mean by your toy box? It's your green section of sound effects. Some of you have it and some of you do not. But that would be a good place to look for, oh, there's crickets. I don't want crickets. And a kiss. I don't want a kiss. But do you know how to change those sound effects? You could get a trolley sound. You could get the bell sound. You have to hold, once you have this all set up, press and hold one of those green Genius sounds and scroll. It'll show up in the window. So now you can get, oops, that's a doorbell. You might not want a doorbell. But you can get all kinds of different things for your sound effects. Whoops, that's jingle bells. I don't know if you'd want jingle bells. Or you could get laughing. So you might want to put in some different things. So don't be afraid to try your sound effects. Let's see what else works here. A telephone, there's a trolley bell. There's your trolley bell. So then you could use the trolley bell by setting it up on your green Genius, what I like to call my toy box, because that's where all your sound effects are. Remember, that's the last thing you put in. Now, if you expect to keep that without changing presets, you must save it. You must save everything into a preset. Otherwise, the next preset you go to, it's gone. All right, let's do some fingering. E3, 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 D2, C1, D2, E3. Second line, E3, 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 D2, C1, D2. Third line, E3, 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 D2, C1, D2, E3. So what's so hard about this? It's the speed. It's the tempo. It has to go fast. C1, D2. Next line, E3, C1, D2, E3, C1, D2, and C1. And the bridge, D2, E3, F4. Top of the second page, G5. F4, E3, D2, C1. Check mark. What the check mark means, oh, here comes Linda. What the check mark means is you're going to lift your hand and put it in a new position. D1, E2, F3, G4, A5, F3, G4, E2, F3, D1. The next E can either be a 2 or a 3, and then the C will be a 1. Now put another check mark. E1, F2, G3, third line A4. B5, G3, A4, F sharp 2. E1, F sharp 2, G3, A4, B5, G3, A4, F sharp 2, G3, E1. The F sharp can be 2 or 3, and your D is a 1. And that you just have to da 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 da. That flows pretty well, but it's a good finger exercise actually. Let's go back to the Sandy Man and play Trolley song with Sandy Man.
I like that.
Yeah, it actually turned out pretty good. Okay. New use for that background for Sandy Man. Any questions about what we did on this?
Dawn,
Yes.
can you, when you said to try the sound effects and hold the Genius button, could you review that again?
Yes, ma'am. Most of you have a green section right here. Okay.
Yeah.
And you have Genius sounds. You already have some stuff there. You've got your applause, you've got your cymbal crash, your surf, but you have 2 Genius buttons. Now those 2 buttons can be changed, but it has to be the last thing that you do. So when you press and hold one, it shows up in the window. See, now you can't see the window. All right. It'll show up in the window. Trolley bell in the window. Now I can scroll to get other ones. While I'm still holding, I can scroll to get other ones. Now if you want to try it, you can try it, but then you have to touch and touch it again and keep holding it so it comes back up in the window. Then I can, oh, the wind. Wind chimes. So yeah, and the trolley bell should be in there. So you just have to touch it again and scroll until you find the trolley bell.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
But yes, that's cool.
it is cool. And then if you want to save what you just did, then you do a memorize A1 with background, with transpose, turn your memorize button off. You all know how to do some saving.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome.
Dawn, did you say
Yeah.
Candyman or some other man? What did you say?
Sandy Man.
Sandy, S-A-N.
Sandy Man. Yeah, the background for Mr. Sandman.
Okay.
It's the background for Mr. Sandman.
All right, thank you.
Man. Yep.
Got it. I
Yeah.
got it.
All right.
Thank you.
I need a new organ. I don't have trolley bells.
Yes, you do.
No,
You
I don't.
most certainly do.
Oh,
Now, okay, David, actually, I'm glad you said that. When you scroll through the list and you're looking for it in alphabetical order, you don't find it. That's because there are two lists. Two lists under your geniuses. One of them is more percussive sounds, and one of it is more sound effects. So if it's not in the first list, keep scrolling. Go to the next list. Okay?
okay.
And you will find it, I promise you. It happened the first time it happened to me, I freaked out. I was looking for the finger snaps. I think I was doing the Addams Family, and I could not for the life of me find finger snaps. And I know my alphabet. So it's like, wait a minute. This is in alphabetical order, and the finger snaps are somebody took them out of here. But then I realized that there were two lists, and so you just have to scroll to the second list, and then it should be there. Keep scrolling. David, you should have two. I know you've got it. Are you pressing and holding one of your
Genius
genius?
1, Genius. I got Genius 1 and Genius 2.
Just press one. You have to press one and hold it.
Pressing it.
Okay. Now
Tambourine.
scroll. Typewriter would be after it, and the train would be before it.
A triangle.
Nope, you're in the drum percussive section. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Go fast. Go all the way to the end of the list and then start scrolling. It'll have a second list.
Oops.
Keep
Oh.
scrolling.
Found it.
Aha! Yes.
I don't need a new organ.
Oh, shoot.
No, that's the one thing you don't freak out if you go, wait a minute, I know my alphabet. It's not here. There's two lists. There's like a percussive drum kit stuff, and then there are the sound effects, and they're separated into two lists. They're not integrated. So if you can't find it on the first try, keep scrolling. Go completely through the list, and then all of a sudden a new list will pop up, and so you can try that one. So that'll work. If that's the only thing you learned today, then you're 100% successful. What a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Okay, the trolley song. I told you there's just not that much to teach on it. So for those of you that have Christmas music, the other song from this film that was so popular was Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Most of you should have a Christmas book that has this in it. As far as chord changes, I have a few. So I'll give you a little bit of time. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to give you a little bit of time to find your music. And then we're also going to point out a few things like the chord progression. The very first four chords are one of the most famous chord progressions in the history of all music. And we'll give you some suggestions on what kind of rhythms, what kind of sounds to use. This particular instrument, and they all come up with different song setups, believe it or not. This one comes up with Smoky Lounge at 70. I think 70 is a little slow, so I'm going to up it to about 74. It also comes up in some of your instruments as Wonderful World with the alter style. But pretty much any kind of swing or smooth or soft and easy at between 70 and 75 is going to be perfectly fine on this. The trick is going to be what kind of Christmas sounds can we use to make this work? And we'll talk about what makes up a Christmas sound. So here we have take the second ending. All right. Did you guys have enough time to find your music?
Oh, yeah.
All right. That was good. And that was song setup, and it came up with the shearing sound. The shearing sound works on so many things. So that's a great Christmas song, a Christmas. Those of you that have fanfares or journeys, it is one of your categories. Can't remember if it's the show category, number 6, I believe it is. Maybe it's number 5, but check it out. It should be there. It's the same sound that comes up with your Johnny Chances. It's awesome. And it's actually made up of piano, guitar, jazz guitar, piano, and what's up over here? The vibes. Those 3 instruments combined along with a block harmony or 4-part harmony give you that beautiful George Shearing sound, and it's absolutely fabulous. Whoops, this is not the one I need.
Pretty and wonderful world, too.
Oh, I'm sure it is. This was introduced by Judy Garland in the 1944 musical Meet Me in St. Louis. She sang the song in the movie to cheer up Tootie, her younger sister, played by Margaret O'Brien. Now, in 1957, Frank Sinatra asked to change the lyrics because he did not want to have to sing on page 3. It says, "Until then, we'll have to muddle through somehow." That just didn't seem very upbeat or hip to him. So he changed it to "Hang a shining star upon the highest bough." And that made it more contemporary for Frank. This was also done by Bing Crosby, Doris Day, Ella Fitzgerald, The Pretenders, James Taylor, Luther Vandross, and a whole bunch of other people have done Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Although I think we do remember it best from the movie and having Judy Garland consoling Margaret O'Brien in the movie. All right, as far as extra chords, there's a few, but if you notice on page 1, there are 4 chords in a row that are, that's the most famous chord progression ever in easy play. It's the C, A minor, D minor, G7. And if you see, it repeats on and on and on. Now, when you get to Out of Sight, you have one little measure there, and those 4 chords are another famous chord progression, E7, A7, D7, G7, C. That's another famous chord progression. You see that one in 5 Foot 2 Eyes of Blue, the E, A, D, G, the C, A minor, D minor, G7. You see that's like your basic 50s songs chord progression. A lot of the 40 songs also had it, but once your fingers get that chord progression, Blue Moon was good with this one. The song More is good with this one. So those 4 chords, if you can get your fingers to do C, A minor, D minor, G7, you're set. You're set for a whole bunch of songs. Now on page 2, top of the page, the last measure. You might want to change the C to a C augmented, C A-U-G, for 2 counts, and then beat 3, go back to a plain old C. Or just play C, and then you'll be fine. C augmented, I'm on page 2. I'm on page 2, top line.
Are you on Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas?
Yes, I'm on page 2.
No,
All right. You may
Oh,
not have the 3 pages. I'm understanding what's happening. Yours might be a little different.
I got 3 pages, but
Next year, all your troubles will be far away. That's where I am. It might be in a different spot on your music. Okay?
I don't have a C chord on the top line of the second page.
I don't either. I have all different chords, Dawn.
What do you have?
G minor, C minor, F7, B flat, G minor, C minor, D7.
Are you in a different key? What are the chords on page 1? The first 4 chords. What are your first 4 chords?
B flat,
Oh, you're in a different
G
key.
minor, C minor,
Ouch.
and F7.
You're in a whole different key. Okay. All right. Then forget the different chords.
And this particular song is in the same book, 134, on page one.
Okay. And it's with the B flat? Okay.
It's for the B flat, yeah.
All right. All right. So forget the different chords. I actually will go back to this book and put them in and wait a minute. Maybe I already did.
You
Hold
did.
on.
John,
Hold on.
I don't have my Christmas books here and I won't be home till Wednesday. What book is it? Do you know what the name of the book is? It's
164.
The same book as this.
Best
one
Christmas
thirty-
song.
Got it in 215.
Yeah.
Book-
I 215. It should be in the key of C.
Book
So it's-
134.
book 164.
Yeah,
Yeah.
book 134,
7.
Yeah.
164.
It's all over.
Best
page
Christmas
107.
song.
Oh,
Yeah.
book
Yeah.
134.
Okay. Yep. This one is in the key of
Oh,
B
it is
flat.
in 134.
Yep. It is.
It is.
And I just reached into my archives in the back file. All right, so, oh,
great.
yeah,
Okay.
It's in the AFI.
yeah, it is actually page 107.
107 in book 134.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to, okay,
It's the same in the
The
Christmas
same
book.
as 215.
it's the same chord progression then in a different key. Now, I'm not going to make you learn the B flat, G minor, C minor, F7 because that, but you're going to have to learn it for this song if you want to play it in this key. Yep. All right, let's go to the second page, second line. And we'll do it in the key of B flat.
Oh.
Troubles will be miles away. Your G minor chord is good for one measure. Then I have an F minor chord instead of the B flat. Cross out the B flat and replace it with F minor for 2 counts. And then beat 3, put in a B flat. Put it back in. Wow, I think it's easier to play in the key of C too.
And then you put in a B flat.
I know, Ken. I'm just going to let it be at that because I'm not going to make it real super difficult.
Oh,
Line 3, E flat minor. E flat minor, by the way, is E flat and G flat. E flat and G flat. The B flat is good for 2 counts. Beat 3, which is over the quarter rest. Put in a C sharp diminished. C sharp diminished is C sharp and G. You may put a 7 on the C minor. Line 4, the B flat is good for the whole measure. Cross out the G minor and throw it away for now. Cross out the C minor and replace that one with G minor. Okay. Let's go to the third page. Line 1, the F chord is good for 2 counts. Cross out the C chord and replace it with G minor, gorilla minor, which is G and B flat. Cross out the F chord and replace it with C minor, C and E flat. And beat 3, make sure you play that F7. So put a box around the F7. And let's go all the way to the bottom of the page. The second ending. Instead of the F, you can play F if you want. Or you can play E flat minor. Or you can play an E flat minor, which is E flat and G flat. Okay. I suppose I won't be able to play it in this key.
Don, anything on the first page?
Yeah,
Nope.
could you-
Nope.
And no changes on the first page?
No, the first page is just a 4 chord progression, And it's that same 4-chord progression, it's just in a different key. It's in that key of B flat.
What's
What-
the fourth
what is the-
word?
Progression.
B flat, G minor, C minor, F7.
No, the one that you said was the most common.
It's the
C,
same one. C, A minor, D minor, G7. It's the same chord progression. We just don't see it in this key all that often.
okay.
So let's go back to,
Dawn, on that last
Yes.
page, the second ending, you said change the F to an E flat minor. And
correct.
that's all that right there.
Correct. That's it. Yep. And
Thank
then we'll talk a little bit about Christmas sounds. What kind of Christmas sounds? We've already acknowledged that the shearing sound works fabulously well for Christmas, and it will come up with a lot of your song setups. If you love this sound, you may wish to save just the sound to one of your presets so you can use it for other songs and other rhythms. Okay, so if you love that shearing sound, and it works well with the most wonderful time of the year, I mean, that just works for everything. The way to save the sound, to steal that sound and save it for other songs, is to do a memorize wherever you want to put it, A1, but when it says with rhythm, with style, make sure it says no. You just want the sound to come up all by itself. All right, we don't need the intro again. All right, different key. Let's try it down this low. Okay, and what came up on the bottom? That was a combination of a trumpet and a saxophone. And that's also just a real pretty sound that works for Christmas time and a lot of other things. But what would you say if you were going to design your own sounds? What would the number one sound on the survey come up to be?
Bells.
Bells, absolutely. The number one sound is bells. So your homework assignment is going to be, and throughout this entire Christmas season, no matter which teacher you have, you're going to find that they are going to be doing a lot of stuff with bells. Now, how do you get bells? Well, there's several ways. You can go through your song setups and just scroll through and find Christmas songs and steal those sounds that are already made up, and most of them will have some type of a bell in them, and then save it to a preset. Or you can go to your category presets if you have them. And you should actually have one category that says bells. And if you've ever been in one of my red, blue, and tabs, or you know how the sounds work on your Inspires and marquees to know how those bell sounds come up, if you look and see exactly what the instruments are, there's usually not just one bell. For example, if you go to 4 handbells and you see upper on and you've got 2 lights lit, that means that it's already combining 2 sounds, which means probably 2 different bells. So combinations of bells works very well. And you can press them and see. You can touch one and it comes up handbells, and number 2 also comes up handbells. Oh, that gave it more presence. So that works. Then if I go to number 5, I get octave bells, and it looks like I have handbells on the upper, and I also have Celeste bells on the upper. So they're combining handbells with Celesta bells and getting a completely different sound. And I think the octaves are different in that, and that's why it works. So if you go to your more section and go to your bells, you can find stuff. What if I don't have that button? And I don't say see me after class, although that would be a very good idea. Go to your Genius voices, or if you've got the Inspire or the marquees and it says sounds and you've got sound, find one where upper is on, put upper on for the first orchestral, and then you're going to touch the sound button, which in this case is a Genius, and then you're going to scroll to find all your bells. And now you can actually audition all of these different bells. Church bells, crystal bells, echo bells, glockenspiel, handbells, Dutch handbells, repeating bells, tinkle bells. And so if you go through and find all your different bells, then what you might want to do is say, okay, that one I'm going to put in Genius 1, and then for Genius 2, try a different one. Or if you've got the Inspire and the marquees, go to the next orchestral sound, push upper on, push the sound, scroll to a different bell, and play them at the same time. It'll layer them and just see what happens. That's not the one I want. So if you layer your bells, you're going to come up with some different stuff. And actually, the possibilities are endless, because how many of these Geniuses or different sounds can you do? On your larger instruments, at least, you can do 2 orchestrals, 2 solos, and 1 in the tabs. And you can send all those sounds going to the upper keyboard if you want. Now, you're going to sacrifice any sound down here, but that's how to design your bells. Or if you like one of the bells from your more section, let's say we go to bells, and we like this one, and it says octave bells. That's actually a pretty nice combination. You can then start enhancing your bells, because what actually happens when you ring a bell?
Doesn't last long.
It doesn't last long. Eventually that sound is going to decay. So, see what happens? How do you pad that sound to make it a little smoother?
Just
Put 'em on.
But it was
Add
another.
strings.
Add strings, add your tabs. Your upper tabs are great additions to your bells, and especially we've talked about building some arrangements. You can start with these bells, and then you can add tabs, strings. You have 3 string tabs. Some of you have 2, some of you have 1, but if you add a 16-foot string tab, wow, that's actually pretty cool. Or you could add a vocal, because what happens? The vocal and the strings stay even while your bell sound dies, so it smooths it out. Let's take the string out and put a vocal on. That's pretty. Or some of your organ sounds. Your flutes are your organ sounds. So by combining your organ sounds with these different bells, and I just used a flute 8 and a flute 4, but just work with different combinations. Do you know that back in the day, before they actually had these magic bells already done for us in the More button, they would use vibes. Don't forget, vibes are also bells. Vibes are also bells. And they would combine the vibe with a flute 8, and that was the magic Christmas sound. So vibes with a flute 8 will give you a nice Christmas sound as well. And then you can save all these different sounds. Well, what happens if I want to use strings and vocals? Why not? Wow, that's actually kind of pretty. And then you can play your song and see what it does. That's with strings and vocals. And it's using those octave bells from your More. I've just combined two different bells, hand bells and celesta bells. So that works, doesn't it? But that's the best way to start designing your Christmas sounds. And if you like that, remember, save the sound. Memorize A2 wherever you are without style. Then turn your memorize button off so that you will have that available to you for any music style. Now, if you don't have an instrument that you're able to memorize and save your sounds, just take notes either on a sticky note and stick it on there, or use a pencil and put it on there, that you combined vibes with strings, or you combined a bell with some flutes, or I put vibes with bells, or I put piano with guitar with vibes to make that shearing sound. So then you just have to write down what you're using. Make sense? Okay. You want to do some fingering on this?
Yes.
All right. Then we'll let you go to the beach. All right. And this is in the key of B flat. My apologies for not even looking. I just went into my files and grabbed the one I have. It's in the key of C. Okay. B flat 1, D2, F3, B flat 5, F3, E flat 2, D1, C3 with a circle, you're crossing it over, B flat 2, C3. Now, there's other ways to do that. So if you cross over differently, it's okay. Next line, B flat 1, D2, F3, B flat 5, F3. D1, F2, B flat 3, D5. Third line, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1, F3 with a circle, E flat 2, D1, check mark. B flat 1, D2, F3, B flat 5, F3, E flat 2, D1, C3 with a circle, B flat 2, C3. Turn the page. B flat 1, D2, F3, B flat 5, F3. D1, F2, B flat 3, D5. Second line, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1. F sharp 2 with a circle because that means you're crossing it over. A3, B flat 4. Third line, D5, 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 C4, B flat 3, A2, B flat 3, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1, A2, B flat 3, A2, A2, B flat 4, B flat 4, B flat 4, A3, G2, F1, G2, A3, F1, G2, top of page 3, A3, B flat 4, C5, low C1, F2, B flat 1, D2, F3, B flat 5, F3, E flat 2, D1, C3, circle it, you're crossing it over, B flat 2, C3, B flat 1, D2, F3, B flat 5, F3. Third line, D1, F2, B flat 3, D4, E flat 5, D4, C3, B flat 2, A1, C3, D4. At the end of that held D in the next line, put a check mark. D5, D5. Low E flat 1, G2, B flat 3, D5, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1, A2, first ending B flat 3 and second ending B flat 3. Okay, now I know we're a little bit over time, but we talked about possibly doing some Christmas songs instead of or in addition to what's going on in this book. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, good idea.
You want to do it in addition to? You want to put this
Oh.
book aside and just do Christmas?
Put the book
No,
aside and just
listen.
do Christmas.
Is that what the seems like most people want to do? Put the book aside?
Well,
Not-
it's that time of the year.
Yeah, it is. Okay, well then let's do that. Okay, I've got you all in gallery view right now, so I can see pretty much everybody, and I'm seeing heads going up and down. All right, now the next question, which song, or do you want me to just pick one?
Just
Pick
pick.
Me just pick? Okay.
Yeah.
I will be happy to do that. If there is a song that you absolutely have to learn, you can go ahead and email me, but I will pick one for you.
Are you going to be using a specific book?
I've got an entire file cabinet full of music, which that's why I got it in a different key. But my favorite book is number 215. I think a
Good.
lot of you have that. So I will try to pick a song that I know is in a lot of the different books.
215 is good.
Sounds
Yep.
good.
Yes, it is, because most of you have it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions before we go?
Thank you.
Thank
Just-
You guys
you.
are the awesomest.
Congratulations on your pictures.
Oh, wow. Yes, now I'm not only a TV star. now I'm a Village's newspaper star. Oh, you're so funny.
Right.
Just one comment, Joanne.
Yes.
Joanne,
Yes,
don't you remember what happens when a bell rings?
Angel gets it.
There
you go.
Yeah.
Oh.
I need a lot of wings.
Me too, Joanne.
How very cute.
I get rid of the horns.
Yeah, I like orange, you know, but
You guys are awesome.
You're awesome. Thank you so
So are
much.
you, Dawn.
I'm coming home Wednesday. I'm so happy.
Oh, yay. Okay. We will see you all either next week or in the next class. And guess what? The internet didn't fail me today.
Didn't knock us
Yeah.
out.
I have a feeling it was just because everybody was Zooming for the holidays. I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what it was. And so Zoom was crashing. So
Yeah.
hopefully we won't have any more issues with that. Thank you and love you all and have a blessed weekend. And we'll see you soon.
Okay. Thank
You.
you.
bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye now.